This tutorial is going to be about setting up the video player for the MediaStore thumbnail viewer. Some of you have been very patient for this one, but here it is. Welcome to Mobile Application Tutorials. My name's Nigel. Okay, so this is the last part of the functionality of the Android MediaStore viewer. When you're clicking on a video thumbnail, playing that video. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so in the previous tutorial where we worked on the constraint layout, we did have an activity set up for us. First step, things we want to do is we want to create some activity members. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is we'll create one for the MediaPlayer. I'll make it a member MediaPlayer. Next one, we'll have a activity member that represents our URI, and so it'll be a URI, and I'll call it video URI, and I also want one to represent an image button that we created in the previous tutorial, and I'll call this play pause button. And one more member, and it's an important one, this is to represent our SurfaceView. Let's call it member. This is where we're going to playing the video on. Okay, next step here is let's go into an OnCreate method, and let's just initialize our image button and our SurfaceView. So what was it? Play pause button, and we can pull down the view for this from our layout, but we will need to cast that to an image button. And find by the ID, and what is it? A video play pause button, there it is. If you forget the name, you might need to go back into your layout to double check the name. Okay, so that play pause button's set up for us there. There are different parts throughout the activity where we will need to call this. Okay, now let's do the same thing for setting up the SurfaceView. Oops. Video SurfaceView. Okay, just to complete the OnCreate, here's a good place for where we can actually do a check to see who called us. In other words, the main activity will be calling us and providing a URI for us which represents the location of the video. So what we want to do is we'll use the method there of getting the URI that's provided to us. The first thing we want to do here is just to check to see if we've been sent a valid intent. I'll just call this calling intent. And we can just call on the activity itself get intent. Okay, this is a bit of safety checking here just to see if calling intent is an actual object, so not equal to null. So if we're happy that that's actually got substance, we can then set up our URI, the video URI. And call our intent and get data. and hopefully this will contain the URI representing the location of the video we want to play. Okay, that's all I believe I need to do here in the OnCreate. Next step I want to do here, and I'll put it down the bottom here, I want to create a couple of helper methods to represent when we're playing or pausing. Playing and pausing can happen when we press the button. Playing is going to happen when we start up the activity. And playing and pausing can even happen when you actually leave the application and come back to it, such as if you choose the task manager. So it could be called a number of times. So let's create helper methods so we only need to call the helper methods once. So I'll call one, let's make it private, void, let's call it MediaPlay. I can spell it. Okay, so first thing this is going to do is just call the MediaPlayer and start. And then, once the MediaPlayer starts up, we want the pause button to be shown, so we'll need to modify our play pause button. Set image resource with the pause ID, and actually let me show you where our icons live, where our play and pause icons live, just for reference here. So open up resources. Now you see these maps. If we open up one of them, we can see these are the locations of the media pause and the media play. So basically we need to select my map. I wonder if I can auto-complete that. So my map, and if it's playing, we want the pause to be shown. And that's all we need to do for this. Let's just copy and paste this. And let's make a few slight changes to this. Make that pause. Now in this case, for pausing, we need to change that to pause the media, and now let's go to IC and change that to play. Basically, once we go into pause, we want the play button to be shown. I know this can be a little bit confusing. This confused me for a second. So over in the pause mode, we want the play button to be shown that, yes, we want to start playing again. Okay, so yep, our helper play and pause helper methods have been now set up. Okay, now we'll just do a bit of tidying up for the activity itself. By tidying up, I mean implement the stop, the on pause, and the on resume functionality. So we'll do the stop first. So it's on stop is an overridden class provided to us by activity. So if we go to override methods, and I do for it's on stop. There it is there. Okay, so basically when we stop this, we want to stop the media playing. We also want to clean up the media player resources. So first thing to do, check here, is just to see if we still have a valid object to shut everything down with. So we'll check to see if MediaPlayer is an object. So basically it's not equal to null. If that's the case, we'll call MediaPlayer again. And we're going to stop it. I said stop, didn't I? Not start it. We're going to stop it. Then we want to release it. So release the resources. And now we'll just set it to null. So this will only ever happen once. So that's the on stop now completed. Okay, let's do implement the on pause. Pause will happen, as I explained before, if you select the task manager and you temporarily go out of the file and come back into it. So again, we need to, that's an overridden method. And so it'll be on pause. So when we go to OnPause, we can just call the MediaPause method that we just created before. And let's also add the on resume. My accent went all very strange there for a second. Oh, that's an overridden method, so we just need to override that. On resume. There it is. Okay, now we need to put a bit of thought into this because we're using a surface view. So let's first just check to see if we have a... So basically, once we've got a valid surface view, we can then create a media player because the surface view is passed into the media player creation to give us a media player object. So let's just check here to see if we have a media player object. So check to see if that's not equal to null. If it's not equal to null, we can just resuming, start playing the video again. So media play. But if we don't have a proper media player object hasn't yet been created for us, we're going to need to set that up here. Make an else statement. Okay, so first thing to do here is we do have a surface view, but I need to use the SurfaceHolder callback. SurfaceHolder callback would tell me when I've got a initialized and completed surface view that I can then pass to the media player to be played. So before I call that, I just want to implement the SurfaceHolder callback. So we can do that by calling SurfaceHolder, and by adding a callback there, we will need to implement the methods. Gives us 3 methods. We're only going to use 1. Okay, so we'll go down to those methods next, but let's just set up our SurfaceHolder callback. So first thing we need to do is to get the SurfaceHolder. So we'll just create one here. I'll just call it SurfaceHolder. It's not really going to be used anywhere else. And to get that, we can get that from our... If we go back up here, we can get that from our surface view, which gets set up in the OnCreate. So if we put surface view and get holder basically returns SurfaceHolder. Now once we've got that, we can just call SurfaceHolder and add callback, and that callback is now part of the activity class, so we can just call this. Okay, now once that's happened, we can go into the surface created down here, and this will give us a valid SurfaceHolder, which we need to properly set up and create our media player. So if we Okay, so basically we'll call our MediaPlayer. We're going to properly initialize it. And basically call the MediaPlayer create method as such. And let's see if I can work out. Okay, we need to pass in the context of the activity, so we can just call this. And the next is going to be the URI containing the location of the video. And what's that video URI? And the final part is going to be the SurfaceHolder argument that's passed to us inside this method called SurfaceHolder. Okay, so we've now got a properly initialized and valid MediaPlayer there. Now here's a good place to actually call it again, so we can, now here's a good place where we can just call our helper MediaPlayer method. So in other words, once we've created this, because when we start up the activity we want to start playing the video straight away, we'll call the MediaPlay here. Okay, right, now so I don't forget, because I normally do, let's go to the play, pause, click here. So we want to pick up any clicks on that image button that we created in the previous tutorial. So first we want to check to see if we're currently playing or not. So we can call the MediaPlayer, and there's a method isPlaying. So if it is playing, and the button, if it's playing and the button gets pressed, we want to pause it. So if it is playing, we'll just call media pause. And if it's not playing, we want to call media play. As such. Okay, so now our image button on click functionality is now implemented. Okay, one final thing before we try and play this. We need, basically when you're playing the video and it completes, we want to, it will automatically stop, but we need to reset the icon button to play again. To do that, we can add another listener here. And let's call the MediaPlayer, and it's on completion listener. Basically once the video is completed, this will be called, and then we can change the icon on the player. Implement methods on completion, and here we're going to need to just call our play pause button. Set image review, we're going to need to change that back to play again. In other words, it's now completed, and it would have been paused, but we need to manually set that to play. Okay, for the on completion for that, we do need to set that. So I think a good place to set that is after we've actually created a MediaPlayer object in the Surface created method. So let's just create a new line here. It's called the MediaPlayer, and call set on completion listener, and we can just call the activity itself because we did implement it as part of the activity. Okay, so we've now completed the code for the video play activity. We now need to go across to the adapter, the MediaStore adapter, and now we need to implement the interface for this, where we can add a video URI. So let's go up to the top up here. So we've got an interface. We just need to add another method here for the video, and just let me set up the proper naming. We'll call it onClick video, and we might as well change the name of the argument as well to video. Okay, let's go across to see where the video image is called. Okay, here it is here. Now these two lines here, let me just highlight them. They need to be made generic because they can either represent video or video as well as image. So let's move them outside of the switch statement. and paste it up here, and let's set up a generic name here so people don't get confused. So I'm going to change this to video URI. No, that's the opposite. I want to change this to media URI, which means basically it can either be video or image. Okay, let's just fix the naming to media. Okay, so now if we go into our media type video case, we'll call the onClick thumbnail listener. Now we want to select onClick video interface method this time, and again we'll just pass in the media URI. Okay, so that's completed. So now we can pass either the image URI or the video URI back to our main activity. So let's go to our main activity. Okay, let's go to the top of our main activity. We'll see an error here. Basically, we have to implement the new interface method that we created in the MediaStore adapter. So implement methods, here we go, onClick video, select OK, there it is there. Okay, I'm feeling quite lazy, been along, now I'm going to copy these 3 lines here, paste them down here, and just make a few minor edits. Now, let's use proper naming convention here. Change the name of this intent to video play intent, so that means something. Important here, we do need to change the name of the recording activity to the video play activity. That's where we want to point our intent to, and let's fix up these names here. So this will be video play, and go across to the next one. That will be video URI. That's the method argument. Go to the past error, and then let's just put in the proper name of the intent, which is video play intent. Okay, that should be all the changes we need to make. So let's try running this and see what happens. The application's now started. Just so you guys can see what's going on here, let me record what's happening on the device. Okay, now I'm going to select the thumbnail. This is a mixture of, remember, images and videos, so I'm going to select this one here, which I think is a video. So it's playing. I can pause that, it pauses, and notice how the icon changed. Okay, I didn't get my SurfaceView dimensions looking that cool. Minor issue with the layout. So start playing again. And now if we go out to the task manager, it should be pausing. If we go back in there, it continues playing. Sort of behavior I expected. Now let's just wait till it completes. I want to see the icon change at the end, back to play again. That was a long video that I was recording, apologies about that. Okay, as we just saw there, the icon's gone back to play again, so we can press play, pause, and if we select the backspace here, we go back to the main activity as such. Okay, so that's the application completed. I just need to stop recording. So that concludes this tutorial. It's been quite a long one, longer than you think with the edits and the redos of certain sections, but we won't go into that. I don't have a bloopers at the end of these tutorials, though I should think about adding them. So that concludes this tutorial. We got in quite deep into setting up a SurfaceView to be used for our media player, and care was taken during the different states. Pausing the activity, the button clicks, setting up some listeners for when the video stops playing, and as well as knowing when our SurfaceView is created so we can then create the media player. There was a certain amount of detail we had to cover in this one. as well as completing the adapter and the main activity to pass across the video URI. Okay, so we will conclude this video. The series is still happening because we've got to make this application work nicely with Android, with audio focuses and media compact, what is it called? Media Session Compact. So basically we want this application to play nice in the Android and ecosystem environment, such as if you're using remote Bluetooth speakers, or if you've got other applications happening as well. So there'll be a few tutorials following this to cover that. Anyway, so if you want to get notified of the further update tutorials to this series or any of the other videos that I'm working on, click on that subscribe button down below. It is a clickable link. And to my right, all my social media icons. Good idea to subscribe and listen to those because they hold all my announcements of when I upload code to GitHub, I make a video, I release an article, all those gets announced on social media. Directly above me is a link to my website. So the website's quite a good place to watch these videos because you can have the article and the video all on one page, and it's got the details of GitHub as well. Okay, and I don't actually answer any questions on YouTube. You all have to go across here to Code Mentor. Pretty busy at the moment. I don't have any free time to respond to questions, but if it's something important, I will free up time in a paid session to support you, consultancy support. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Bye for now.